From the Watergate building in Washington, this is Hotline TV. Now here are Hotline editors Amy Walter and John Mercurio.
Good afternoon. Welcome to Hotline TV.
I'm John Mercurio. We meet again, Amy Walter.
Yes, we do. All right. It's good to be back. Yesterday's elections brought no real shockers, but there were a few surprises. What do election results in Virginia and Kentucky say about what we may see in 2008? John Mercurio.
Difficult to make such broad predictions, obviously.
Wimpy,
No, come on. I think these were very isolated races. I do think, though, in these isolated states, I don't think there are any broad national implications about what happened. But I do think in these individual states, you have politicians running for re-election in 2008 who are very concerned. Go to Virginia, first of all. Tom Davis, poor wife, who he sort of brought into the political world. She ran for the House, and then she ran for the Senate. She lost her Senate seat yesterday in a very tough race. And it wasn't she lost it big, exactly. And I think what it says is that there's a lot of, as we've been saying for months, a lot of change going on, not just in Northern Virginia, but in Fairfax County, in Tom Davis's own backyard. A county that he used to serve as the chairman of the Board of Supervisors is now turning heavily Democratic. So he running for re-election in 2008 has to be, I think, concerned. I still think he's safe. I still think he wins re-election. But, down the road, 2008, 10, after 12, after the Democrats presumably are going to have some role in redistricting, they're probably going to want to exact revenge on the former NRCC chair. And Mitch McConnell, I think obviously this was an exclusive race in Kentucky had a lot to do with Fletcher and not to do with McConnell. I think he'll be safe. I think he's less concerned.
The real question is, do we see results in recruiting, right? I mean, if you are the DSCC or the DCCC or in fundraising, that's a good point. You say, this is going to be a great night to try to activate the search for candidates, and they've thus far been unsuccessful in Kentucky. I mean, they've been doing everything they can to try to get somebody to run for Mitch McConnell. They're dumping polls out there all the time. Mm-hmm. They are now putting out press releases saying, see, Mitch McConnell should be worried now that, Fletcher had such a poor showing. And yet, Democrats still not coming up to take the bait. And in Tom Davis's district, it's still, while it is a Democratic trending district, running against him is not going to be easy.
What about Leslie Byrne? Where's Leslie Byrne?
She isn't she doing something else? Doesn't she want to?
I'm just kidding. I think Leslie Byrne has really had her chance.
Saying, isn't she going to?
She's a big friend of the show.
Mark Warner
She's a big friend of the show. She very well may.
That would be a good. That might be a good way to go there.
But a good night for Democrats, but I think really ultimately just that, a good night for Democrats, not necessarily.
Let's see what they can do with it.
Let's see what they can do with that for the rest of the year.
Well,
all right, Amy. The next time we discuss election results, it will be primary results.
Ooh, I can't wait.
It'll be exciting.
All right.
All right. We'll see you next time on Hotline TV.